and welcome back to the English Together podcast. I'm Erica.
And I'm Marco. On this show, we help you speak natural, everyday English through real conversations, clear examples, and practical topics.
Today's episode is a goldmine for students, teachers, parents, tutors, anyone connected to education.
Absolutely. We're talking about 100 essential English phrases for classroom conversations. This matters because classrooms are full of tiny, daily exchanges.
Teachers give directions. Learners ask questions. People request help, explain missing homework, or respond to simple prompts all day long.
Exactly. You might need to say, "Could you repeat that, please?" Or, "Open your books." Or maybe, "I don't understand this question." Or even, "Can I hand it in tomorrow?"
These sound simple, but they're extremely important. And many learners know grammar rules, yet freeze when they actually have to speak in class.
That's so true. So today, we'll help you sound more natural in teacher-student interactions. We'll walk through a typical school day step by step and use dozens of useful phrases in context.
If you enjoy learning with us, please give this episode a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a lesson.
Ready? Let's start our classroom English session. I even brought pretend homework.
Good. Let's dive in.
Hi, Erica. How are you feeling today?
I'm good, thanks. Quite calm, actually. I had a quiet morning. Tea, notes, everything prepared before we started recording.
That sounds very organized.
I try. What about you?
I'm fine, but I had a classic student moment this morning.
Oh, what happened?
I sat down, opened my notebook, looked serious for 10 seconds, and then realized I had the wrong notebook.
That really is a student moment.
Yeah, I have one notebook for ideas, another for work, and a third for random thoughts. Guess which one I picked?
The random thoughts one?
Exactly. One page said, "Buy bananas." Another said, "Why do socks disappear?" Very academic.
Thank you for that. So, what did you do this weekend?
I visited my cousin. He's a teacher. We talked a lot about school life, students, and classroom challenges.
Really? What did he say?
He said the most common classroom sentence isn't "good morning." It's, "Can you hear me at the back?"
That sounds painfully realistic.
He also said students ask the same questions everywhere in the world. Is this for homework? Will this be on the test? And of course, can we finish early?
Yes, universal classroom phrases. What did you do this weekend? I helped a friend prepare materials for her English class. We talked about how vital simple classroom phrases are. That fits today's lesson perfectly. Students often know the subject matter but don't know how to ask for help naturally. And teachers need short, clear phrases that students understand instantly.
Speaking of classrooms, homework, and famous student questions, today's topic is ideal.
Yes, we'll cover greetings, instructions, questions, mistakes, homework, tests, and after-class conversations, all in simple, natural, useful English.
Good, because if I get too formal, I start sounding like a school announcement. So let's start at the beginning of the school day.
Good idea. A teacher walks into the room. What are some common opening phrases?
The teacher might say, "Good morning, everyone. How are you today? Please sit down." Or, "Let's get started."
Those are very basic, but very important. Simple classroom English is often the most useful English.
And what does a student usually say?
A student might say, "Good morning, teacher. I'm fine, thank you." Or, "I'm a little tired today."
That last one is very honest.
Yes, and teachers hear it often. Teachers also say things like, "Is everyone here?" or "Who is absent today?"
And a student might answer, "Ali is absent today." Or, "I think Maria is sick." Wait, what does absent mean?
Absent means not present, not in class.
Ah, so the opposite is present.
After greetings, the teacher usually starts the lesson, right?
Yes, the teacher might say, "Please open your books to page 10. Take out your notebooks. Look at the board." Or, "Today we're going to learn about..."
Take out your notebooks is such a classic teacher phrase.
It really is. It simply means get your notebook and put it on your desk.
And if a student doesn't hear clearly, they can say, "Sorry, what page?" Or more politely, Sorry, which page are we on? Or could you repeat that, please?
I like which page are we on. That feels very real.
Another useful student phrase is, I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
What does I didn't catch that mean?
It means I didn't hear or understand what you said. Very natural in classrooms, and outside too.
Now the teacher starts explaining something. What phrases come next?
The teacher might say, please listen carefully. This is important. Let me explain. Or, first, we're going to review yesterday's lesson.
Review is a useful word.
Yes, review means look at something again to remember or understand it better. So a teacher can say, let's review what we learned last time.
And a student can say, can we review that again if they still feel confused?
Confused is me in math class.
Very honest. What if the teacher asks a question to the class?
Then you hear phrases like, who knows the answer? Can anyone help? What do you think? Or would you like to answer?
And on the student side, a student might say, I think the answer is, or I'm not sure, but maybe, or can I try?
I like I'm not sure, but maybe, because sometimes students know a little, but not everything.
Exactly. It gives them a way to speak without too much fear.
Fear is a big problem in classrooms. Many students know more than they think, but they're afraid of making mistakes. So teachers also need encouraging phrases.
Absolutely. Teachers often say, that's a good try, good effort, you're close, that's almost right, or don't worry, try again.
Those phrases are so important. A kind classroom helps students speak more. What does good effort mean exactly?
It means you tried seriously, even if the answer wasn't perfect. It's a respectful phrase.
And if the answer is correct, the teacher may say, that's right, excellent, very good, well done, or exactly.
Well done feels warm and positive.
Let's talk about asking questions. Students need many phrases for that.
Yes, this is one of the most important parts. Students can say, I have a question. Can you explain that again? What does this word mean? How do you pronounce this? Or can you give another example?
Those are very useful, especially can you give another example? Because sometimes one explanation isn't enough.
What if a student doesn't understand instructions?
Then they can say, what are we supposed to do? Do we write this down? Do we work alone or in pairs? Or how much time do we have?
Do we work alone or in pairs is a great classroom phrase, very common. And the teacher might answer, work in pairs, work in groups of 3. You can do this alone. Or you have 10 minutes.
Group work creates a lot of conversation too. A teacher might say, find a partner, work with the person next to you, discuss your answers, or compare your ideas.
Compare is a useful word. It means look at 2 things and notice what is similar or different. So students might say, can I work with you? Or what did you write?
Exactly. Or I got a different answer. Let's check together. Or I think number 3 is wrong. That feels very classroom real.
Now let's move to pronunciation and vocabulary.
Ah, yes, a big part of English classes. A teacher might say, repeat after me. Listen to the pronunciation. Say it again. Or watch my mouth.
Watch my mouth sounds funny, but it's useful for difficult sounds.
And students can say, how do you say this in English? What does this mean? How do you spell it? Or can you say it more slowly?
Those are essential student phrases. What if a student wants to check spelling?
They can say, could you spell that please? Or is that with an A or an E? And the teacher might answer, it's spelled, or there's no extra letter.
I think could you say it more slowly is one of the most important phrases for learners.
Absolutely. It helps students stay active instead of silent. And silent students often look calm, but inside they are not calm. Let's talk about classroom problems too. Those phrases are also important.
Real classrooms have real problems. A student might say, I forgot my homework. I left my book at home. My pen doesn't work. Or I don't have a partner.
I forgot my homework is one of the most famous student sentences in history.
I think so too. And what does a teacher usually say?
It depends. The teacher might say, please bring it tomorrow. Why didn't you do it? Next time, be more careful. Or you can share with your partner today.
Be more careful is useful inside and outside class. Another classroom problem is being late. A student might say, "Sorry, I'm late," or "The bus was late."
And the teacher, "Please come in, take your seat," or "Try to be on time next time." Take your seat is a very teacher-like phrase.
Also, if a student needs to leave the room, they can say, "May I go to the restroom?" or "Can I leave for a minute?"
I hear "may I go to the restroom" all the time in classroom examples. It's polite and common. Is "can I go to the restroom" okay too?
Yes, that's also common in everyday English. "May I" sounds a bit more formal.
Now, let's talk about homework, a huge part of teacher-student conversations.
Students always want to know about homework. Teachers often say, "For homework, please complete exercise 5. Finish the worksheet. Read pages 20 to 25, or hand it in by Friday."
Wait, what does hand it in mean?
Hand it in means give your homework or assignment to the teacher. Very important.
A student might ask, when is it due? Do we have homework today? Can I hand it in tomorrow? Or do we need to write full sentences?
When is it due is a perfect phrase. It means when must I finish and submit it? And the teacher might answer, "It's due on Monday. Please hand it in before class." Or, "No late work, please."
Late work means homework submitted after the deadline. Let's talk about tests and exams too.
Teachers often say, "We have a quiz on Thursday. There will be a test next week. Please study chapters 3 and 4." Or, "This will be on the exam."
That last sentence gets everyone's attention.
It certainly does. And students ask, "Will this be on the test?" more than almost any other question. They also ask, "How should we study? What topics do we need to review?" Or, "Can we use a dictionary?"
That's helpful. The classroom is full of small question-answer patterns. Teachers respond with phrases like, "Focus on the key points," "Review your notes," "Practice the vocabulary," or "Make sure you understand the examples."
Key points means the most important ideas, right?
Exactly. What about during the test itself?
Teachers say, "Please be quiet. Do your own work. You have 30 minutes. Read the instructions carefully," or "Stop writing now." And students may ask, "Can you repeat the instructions? Is this question clear?" Or "How much time do we have left?"
Another big part is feedback and correction. After classwork or homework, teachers need phrases like, "Please check your answers," "Let's go over the mistakes," "This part is correct, but this part needs work," or "You need to be more careful here." Go over the mistakes means review them together.
Right. And students might say, "I understand my mistake now. Can I correct it?" Or, "Why is this wrong?"
And a teacher might answer, "Because the verb tense is incorrect. You missed one word." Or, "Your idea is good, but your grammar needs improvement." That last sentence is very useful. Honest but kind.
Good feedback should be clear and encouraging.
Students also need phrases for asking for extra help.
Definitely. A student can say, "Could you help me after class? I'm having trouble with this topic. Can you explain it one more time?" Or, "Do you have time to check my work?"
"I'm having trouble with this topic" is a great phrase, very natural. And a teacher can respond with, "Of course, let's look at it together. Come see me after class." Or, "I can help you during the break."
What about online classes? Teacher-student conversations change a little there too.
Yes, in online class, teachers say things like, "Can everyone hear me? Please turn on your cameras if possible. Mute your microphones. Type your answer in the chat." Or, "I'll share my screen."
And students say, "I can't hear you. Your screen is frozen. Sorry, my internet is slow." Or, "Could you put that in the chat?"
Those are essential online classroom phrases. "Your screen is frozen" is such a modern sentence. Erica, teacher-student conversations also include emotional support, not just instructions.
Absolutely. Teachers often say, "Don't worry. Take your time. You're improving. Keep trying." Or, "I'm proud of your progress."
Those phrases matter so much. Learning feels easier when people feel safe and respected.
And students also say emotional things sometimes, like, I'm nervous, I don't feel confident, or I'm trying, but it's difficult.
And a good teacher might answer, that's okay, you're doing better than you think. Or, learning takes time. That's a beautiful classroom sentence.
Let's talk about after class. What phrases are common?
After class, teachers often say, see you next time. Don't forget your homework. Have a good day. Or, if you have questions, ask me after class.
And students may say, thank you for the lesson. See you tomorrow. Can I ask one more question? Or, I'll bring my homework next time. Very natural classroom endings.
One reason this topic is so useful is that these phrases are short. Exactly. Teacher-student English is often short, clear, and repeated every day. So even though the title says 100 essential phrases, the bigger lesson is really about patterns: greeting, instruction, checking understanding, asking for help, giving feedback, homework, tests, and closing the lesson.
That makes it much easier to learn. Let's make a few full mini conversations for our listeners.
Great idea.
Teacher, please open your books to page 20. Student, sorry, which page? Page 20. Okay, thank you.
Another one. Teacher, please work in pairs. Student, can I work with Sarah? Yes, that's fine. Great.
One more. Student, I don't understand this question. Teacher, which part is confusing? The last sentence. Okay, let me explain it again.
Perfect. Another one. Student, when is the homework due? Teacher, it's due on Friday. Student, can I hand it in on Monday? Teacher, please try to hand it in on Friday. That sounds very real.
Now let's talk about good habits in classroom English. Being polite, asking clearly, and saying when you don't understand.
I agree. Silence is not always helpful. Students often stay quiet because they feel embarrassed, but good classroom phrases help them speak. Phrases like, could you repeat that? And I'm not sure I understand are actually confidence tools.
That's a great way to put it. What about teachers? What are good habits for them?
Clear instructions, simple language, encouragement, and checking understanding. Checking understanding means making sure students really understand. For example, asking, is that clear? Do you understand? Or can someone explain the instructions?
Ah, yes, that's important, because sometimes students nod, but they don't really know what's happening. Final question. If a learner wants to remember these phrases, what should they do?
I think they should group them by situation. Morning greetings, asking questions, classwork, homework, test day, and after class. That's smart. Also, practice them out loud. Short phrases become natural faster when you speak them.
I agree. If you say them only in your head, they stay shy.
That is a very Marco sentence.
Thank you. And I think learners should choose 10 phrases they really need first. Start small, then build more.
Good. So the goal is not to memorize 100 phrases in one day.
Definitely not, because I would need a very long snack break. You know, Erica, while we were talking, we used many useful words. Let's go through them together.
Yes, please. Classroom English becomes much easier when we slow it down. First word, absent. Absent means not in class or not present. For example, Maria is absent today, or he is absent because he is sick.
The opposite is present. My personal connection is easy. I never want to be absent on test day.
Next word, review. Review means look at something again to understand or remember it better. For example, let's review yesterday's homework, or I review my notes before class.
Review is very common in school language. I review better when I write things by hand.
Next phrase, in pairs. In pairs means with one partner, a group of two. For example, please work in pairs, or discuss the answers in pairs.
Related phrases are in groups and alone. I like pair work because it feels less scary than speaking alone.
Next phrase, hand in. Hand in means give your homework or paper to the teacher. For example, please hand in your homework on Friday, or I forgot to hand in my worksheet.
Some learners confuse hand in with give back. Hand in is from student to teacher.
Next word, due. Due means the time when something must be finished or submitted. For example, the project is due next week, or when is the homework due?
A related word is deadline. I like knowing when things are due because my memory is not always strong.
Next phrase, take your time. This means do not rush. For example, take your time, there's no rush.
This phrase can reduce stress a lot. I like hearing take your time in almost any situation.
Erica. Next word, pronounce. Pronounce means say a word in a certain way. For example, how do you pronounce this word? Or please pronounce each word clearly.
The noun is pronunciation. Pronunciation is hard, but it gets better with practice.
Next word, confusing. Confusing means difficult to understand clearly. For example, this instruction is confusing, or I find this question confusing.
The feeling word is confused. I'm confused. Good difference.
Next word, progress. Progress means improvement over time. For example, you are making good progress, or I'm proud of your progress.
Progress does not need to be fast to be meaningful. My favorite kind of progress is small progress I can see every week.
Next word, encourage. Encourage means help someone feel more confident and willing to try. For example, a good teacher encourages students to speak, or her kind words encouraged me.
The adjective is encouraging. I like encouraging people because learning is hard enough already.
Last phrase, check understanding. This means make sure someone really understands. For example, teachers should check understanding often, or I ask questions to check understanding.
This is a very useful teaching idea and a useful classroom phrase. I think checking understanding saves a lot of confusion later.
Let's quickly review all the words and phrases. Absent, not present. Review, study again. In pairs, with one partner. Hand in, give work to the teacher. Due, needed by a certain time. Take your time, do not rush. Pronounce, say a word. Confusing, hard to understand. Progress, improvement over time. Encourage, help someone feel confident. Check understanding, make sure someone really understands. These are all very useful for both teachers and students. And when you use them in real classroom situations, they become much easier to remember. Okay, Marco, that was a lot of talking about teacher-student conversations.
Yes, I feel like I attended a full class, forgot imaginary homework, and still learned a lot. Let's think about what we learned.
Good idea. First, we learned classroom greetings and lesson beginnings. Phrases like, good morning, please sit down, open your books, and let's get started.
Then we talked about asking and answering questions. I have a question. Could you repeat that? What does this mean? And I think the answer is...
After that, we covered instructions and class activities. Work in pairs, discuss your answers, take out your notebooks, and look at the board.
Then we talked about homework, tests, and deadlines. Hand it in by Friday. When is it due? Will this be on the test? And review your notes.
After that, we looked at feedback and support. Good effort. That's almost right. You're making progress. And let's go over the mistakes.
Finally, we talked about after-class English and polite endings. Thank you for the lesson. Can I ask one more question? And see you next time. So listeners, teacher-student English is not complicated. It's mostly short, clear, repeated phrases that help classroom life go smoothly.
Yes, and when you group the phrases by situation, they become much easier to remember. Start with greetings, questions, instructions, and homework phrases first, then build more step by step. That's the best way. Now we want to hear from you. This is our favorite part.
Yes, we really love reading your comments. Our question of the day is, what is one English phrase you want to use more confidently in class?
I'll answer first. One phrase I want students to use confidently is, "Could you explain that again, please?" I like it because it's polite, clear, and very useful.
My answer is, I'm not sure I understand. I think it's honest, simple, and helpful. It can save a lot of confusion.
See, we have different answers, and that's okay. Maybe your phrase is about homework, or asking a question, or pronunciation, or tests.
So listeners, we want to know about you. What is one English phrase you want to use more confidently in class?
You can write something simple like, "I want to use 'could you repeat that' more confidently," or "I want to say 'what does this mean' more naturally." Or, "My favorite classroom phrase is, 'Can I ask a question, please?' Tell us in the comments. Write, 'One phrase I want to use more confidently is,' it helps us make better videos and helps you practice writing."
If you are a teacher, you can also tell us your favorite classroom phrase for students. We'd love to read your answers.
Erica, thank you so much for spending this time with us today. We hope this lesson helps you use classroom English more naturally and confidently.
Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Click the subscribe button and the little bell. That way you won't forget to join us for our next lesson.
You are all great students, and we're so happy you're learning with us. Keep practicing. Remember, small phrases are powerful. A short, clear sentence can help you ask, answer, learn, and connect.
Yes, one useful phrase today can become a real conversation tomorrow. And the more you use English in real situations, the more natural it becomes.
Have a wonderful day, evening, or night. Take care, keep practicing, and good luck with your English.
Goodbye.